in the box, feel like I can't breathe. These niggas my sons, it ain't hard to see.
Hey guys, before the video starts, make sure to go follow the YouTube. It is very important that you follow us so that the channel can grow. So make sure to subscribe. And also, make sure to follow my fitness Instagram. I take a lot of personal work into it, so please y'all follow it. I'm going to introduce the first episode of our new series, Roadmap to Manhood. In my life, I've had so many different experiences, and I've changed so much over the years that I think it's about time I really document and express all the different things that I've truly learned. And with this series, I hope, y'all get a better understanding of my personal life and my growth and my journey. And I get to release some things that I've held on to most of my life, and I haven't just kept to myself, but I don't just tell everybody these things. So, this is probably one of the best videos I've ever worked on, and I truly hope y'all enjoy. I didn't have the worst childhood. So originally, I didn't have a father. I didn't know my biological father. I didn't know his name. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know how old he was. All I knew is I had my mom, I had my grandparents, and my immediate family from Memphis, Tennessee. That's all I knew. And I also knew that my family loved me greatly. And, they showed it to me. They loved me, and they made me feel appreciated that I existed. And they made me feel special, and they definitely took interest and invested a lot into me. I remember when I was younger, they was like, Keelan, you're so smart, you're gonna do great things, you like this, you like that, you're gonna do these things. And I remember during that time, I felt like there was nothing that could stop me. And this is me as a child. I remember, I used to watch anime, and I remembered when I was younger, I used to go to my grandparents' house all the time. I went to school there. I went to this elementary school, literally, they lived in these apartments, and I could literally go through the gate and the school would be right there. That's how close it was. And I had a bunch of friends, and the teachers liked me. Don't get me wrong, I was bad, especially in kindergarten. I was diagnosed with ADHD. It was bad. I used to go to it was this martial arts thing my grandpa got me into, and he got my great grandfather to pay for it. It's called Aikido, and I made friends there. And I remember, I used to go to McDonald's after we were through, and we either go to McDonald's or get a Lotus. If you don't know what a Lotus is, it's this Mexican corn. They put mayonnaise and sour cream. You can put lemon pepper and hot sauce. It's great. If you don't know what it is, bro, go look it up. But yeah, I had a bunch of wonderful moments. I used to ride my bike with my friends, and I used to ride my bike with my grandpa. And the thing about being a child, especially a very young child, is you're blinded by a lot of the real world things, a lot of the real world problems that are uncovered when you're when you're a child. When you're a child, you believe in Tooth Fairy. You believe in Santa Claus. Your mom, my mom, she used to go wrap up the presents, in the den. I'm actually at my uncle's house right now. She used to go wrap them up in the den, and she'd be like, "Don't come in here. You stay away from here." I'd be like, "Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. You better go to sleep for Santa. He don't bring you no presents." I'd be like, "Okay." Don't even question it. And I remember, now I'm coming of age now. I remember I was 6 years old, and that's when my stepfather first kind of came in the picture. My brother had just been born, very young, and I just remember me and him always arguing. I would make it clear I did not like him at all. I did not like him. He was this new man. There had never, really been a man in the house before. I felt threatened, and I just remember like I just did not want him there, and yeah, like I just didn't want him there, and we used to fuss and fight. But you know, as time went on, things got better. We started to form this relationship with each other. I guess you could say it was a father. It wasn't a father-son relationship yet, but it was becoming that. And I could appreciate that. It was just like, I didn't call him my dad. I called him by his first name for many years. My brother, though, he had basically raised him since he was like a baby. But we hadn't formed that relationship yet. And yeah, like I remember he used to take me to go swimming. We went to the pool. He took us to the water park. Like I used to go with my step cousins, and we used to go like to my Aunt Pam's house. And I used to have the adventures of a lifetime with him. And it wasn't always good, but he was a special person. And I could tell he valued me. And I think it was one of the first times. It was like on a Christmas. Excuse me. And I remember, man, like, I don't know what happened this Christmas, but my grandpa, he didn't like him for whatever reason. I don't know. And it wasn't my dad's fault. Like, it was my grandpa's fault. And they got in this huge argument. And yeah, that's where things just really went south. By this point, I was probably 8, probably 9, somewhere in that time frame. It's kind of fuzzy, but I just vividly remember like this huge argument. Like we had to leave. That's how huge the argument was, and it just ruined the night. So after that, like, yeah, things just went downhill. Like when I went to go stay with my grandpa, things just didn't work the same. Like I noticed different things, like just about his behavior. Like he used to ask me different things, and I'm not gonna go into complete detail because it's my family business. Y'all don't need to worry about all that. But the things that I had done and the things I told him, and I just, all I did was answer what he asked me, which was I guess I was a child. I can't be completely blamed. But to a degree, like, he took advantage of me. He took advantage of me being a naive child. He took advantage of what I knew, and he used it against me. And he used it against my mom, my dad. And that wasn't right. And I remember in 4th grade, like, I was 9 years old at the time. I was at a different school. My old elementary school had closed. And things just weren't going well. It was the first time, I was in a new environment. I wasn't, used to the people. And I don't know. I was like so intelligent too. That's the thing about it. Like I had always been intelligent. And everybody knew me for being smart. Like I was probably the most smartest person in the class. And it's just like no one really liked me. I was weird. I was like just a young weird kid. And I guess other 9-year-olds just didn't understand at the time. And that's fine. But yeah, like man, I swear there's so much to recount about this. But I remember being in school suspension and telling the principal, or not the principal, but my teacher, a certain thing that she had to go report to other people because that's how important it was. She had to report. I'm not gonna get into all that detail, but I remember those things, and I had to switch classes. And then I remember like my teacher did something, like she took my Beyblade comics and I put like this note under her desk as like a joke, and then that got me an in-school suspension, almost got me kicked out of school. And like I said, the tensions were, and it was just, I was not in a good place. And I remember, it's weird thinking about this because like I never realized how far back this went, just because like I remember I'm like 9 years old, not even 10 years old yet, and feeling like this emptiness. And then I went to middle school. It's really weird how when people talk about middle school, they talk about middle school so well. Like they talk about like, and this is me. Like I'm talking about like when I got to high school. I know I'm skipping parts, but just bear with me. It's just like I remember they used to say like, yeah, I love middle school. I wish I could go back to middle school. I wish I could go do this. I remember I used to do that. I did this with my friends. I remember people who, and it was these, be these wild stories. This was not my middle school experience at all, like whatsoever. Like I had a terrible middle school experience. So when I was in middle school, this is 5th grade, I went to this very, very, very small school. And after my whole elementary school phase, like I just decided I wanted to be this new person. Like I got to clean the slate again. I just wanted to be this brand new person. And so I came to middle school because I also had a group of friends like in my apartment complex that I lived in at the time. And they went to the same school. So I was like, oh, I might as well I want to go to school with my friends. So I went. Probably one of the best and worst decisions of my life. And the reason for that being, I remember I was in 5th grade, which was cool. And I remember this lady, I forgot her name, but she gave me this test. And the test was going to determine, and it was other people who took, it was like 4 other people who took the test with me. And that was going to determine whether or not they got to go to the 6th grade. So we basically skipped a grade. I was only in 5th grade for like 2 weeks. And I remember being in the 6th grade class. And I don't know what, I met this dude. And it was this other guy I still know to this day. I don't know him to this day, but I remember him. I'm not gonna say their names, but I remember him. And I was talking about how like they was weak or something. I don't know. Like I was being a butthole, I was being irritating. I was a kid. I was trying to impress somebody and it didn't work. And after that, man, like I don't know. Like I was just that annoying younger kid in a class full of older people. And I feel like that's where that like inferiority kind of complex began, like feeling I was less than people. But the one thing that stayed consistent was that I was always intelligent. It's just now there were other people that were either as intelligent as me or almost as intelligent. And that's the thing, like this is a consistent part of the story, at least up to this point. Like I was always just very intelligent. I was always like the teacher's pet. I was always the one like getting the certificates. Like I had never really known failure before. To a degree, until I got to middle school. And the thing about middle school is I got bullied severely. Like, I got talked about severely. And I especially remember in 6th grade, like there was this, we went to this Atlanta trip and I had bad diarrhea. And there was a whole thing, a whole rumor got spread about me. Probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. And it never let go. And after that, the bullying just got so much worse. I remember, I think it was like that next year or somewhere within that year, like my great grandfather died. Like he was one of my idols, and he was the one that really helped take care of my family when we couldn't support ourselves. And for the first time, when he died, and I was really young, so it was hard for me to really process that. But it's like something broke inside of me, and I was never really the same since. Feel like I'm gonna mention later in other videos. Just remember this, like I have this feeling of loss that rose up inside me. And I went to school and I always had this habit of I wanted sympathy. I wanted someone to feel bad for me. And no one ever was. Like no one was gonna give me sympathy. And now I look back on it, I'm happy about that, but in the moment, like that just made me feel even more empty. And especially in 7th grade, I feel like that was probably one of the worst times for the bullying that it had ever been. And I remember this one guy, I'm not gonna name him, but it was this one dude, like he used to really pick at me. Like he's one of them kids, he was just as smart as me. We were both A students. He got the girls. I mean, what is getting the girls in middle school? And I remember, like, I don't know why I asked this. Like, I looked at him, and this is one of the things that has always stuck with me. Like, I'm literally 18 years old, and I still remember this. I looked at him. I remember his exact name, too. And he was like a real teacher's pet. Like, but when no one was looking, that dude was horrible. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy how, like, he was really, like, 13, 14 years old in that two-face. I remember, bro, like, I asked this dude, I was like, why do you not like me? Like, I've done nothing to you. Why do you not like me? And he was like, I don't know. And it's like, when he said that, it's weird, because, like, I remember this conversation. I've been in therapy and everything, obviously, and I think about this conversation a lot, just because, you know, one of the things I said in therapy was that people are evil. You know, there are no such things as good people. And it's weird, because he's one of the people who helped me frame that mindset. It's just the fact that you have the ability to treat someone so poorly when you have no reason to treat them that way. And it definitely made me a selfish person, especially in middle school. And it made me an angry person, and it made me depressed. And by the way, like, at this point, I was only 12 years old. And, you know, things with my, you know, I still had my family. Like, I was honest, you know, I still had, you know, the love I needed. My mom went to work, my dad went to work, my dad wasn't working, he did this, he did that with us. And I had my brothers. And then 8th grade came. Now, this was a very difficult time for my family. Like, it was difficult financially. And we were moving from motel to motel. My dad, he had a series of multiple heart attacks before, but, like, you know, before, like, we got over him. And, you know, like, he was pretty much fine, like, you know, and I never really thought anything about it. But yeah, like, I don't know, it's like he was so stressed. And we just kept fighting. And my mom was so tired, and I was angry because of just all the things that had happened. And it was just a bad moment for me. Like, it was such a bad experience. Like, you know, sitting in a truck with only 2 seats, you know, having to clean up every single day, like, clean up this motel, like, washing my, like, bringing the large, like, tote of clothes on my shoulders to walk to the laundromat that was on the motel. Like, I remember all those things, like, and it's crazy because it's like now they're just distant memories, but those were real things. And I remember, like, being angry and yelling at my brothers and just being this aggressive person that I didn't want to be. And then when I finally left middle school and I went to high school, it's like the experience just changed. See, the good thing about high school was that I finally had met a group of people that I could actually identify with, like this new version of myself. And as you can see, this is a like recurring theme. Like, I always wanted to be this new, improved version of myself, and it did not work whatsoever. Excuse me. It didn't work, like, at all. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why now, but at that point, I just couldn't understand why it didn't work. Like, why is it every time I tried to do better, every time I tried to be more social, every time I tried to be less angry, every time I wanted to do better in my grades, like, it just didn't work. And when I got to this high school, you know, I was like, I'm finna do this. Like, this finna be easy. You know, I'm finna do that. I'm finna do this. And yeah, for the first time, at least, see, the thing about it was, like, I may not have just always had friends, and my financial situation might have not always been good. Even to the point, like, me, myself, was, you know, I just didn't have any real personality. Like, I was fine with that. When I got to high school, and I saw, like, dang, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Whew, that tore me down. I remember like I was taking college classes during this time too. And yeah, bro, like I was not doing good. I remember that first semester was so hard. And I got my first C. That hurt the most. And that was in one of my regular classes. But let's stay focused. So I had like a group of friends. And one of the first instances where I wasn't myself, or at least didn't know how to be myself, it was this girl. She used to be so mean to me. And I can never figure out why. Like, I tried to be this happy-go-lucky, cheerful person. And I tried to be this, like, you know, just easy to be with type person. Like, I just did everything in my power to make sure I didn't annoy anyone, that I didn't irritate anyone, that I apologized for anything I did. And she saw right through it. And she just didn't like me for a while. And I would console with my other friends and everything. And yeah, I just tried to be this person. And then it's weird because I was still getting bullied by other people. Like, I was like more of a quiet kid too. Well, not quiet, but I was quiet around them because I didn't know them and they gave up a weird vibe. But that's a different story. And yeah, like I clearly remember like I was trying to be this decent person for once in my life, and it was not working. And I remember it was probably like around Christmas, and we had come back from like Christmas break, and I started to learn more about myself during that time, and how me getting like a D in one of my college classes, C's in my college classes, and me not doing so good just in school as what I was used to, and showing me, you know, and it kind of put me into a slight depression during that time. And once I felt like that fall season was finally over, and you know, the spring, you know what comes with spring, like comes light, and just a time to shine and grow from your, you know, past mistakes. Like I was like, this is my moment to shine. And I remember like I was in biology class with my friends and everything, and I don't know, like I would just make things up because, like I said, like, you know, just going back to that recurring theme, like I just wanted to feel this sympathy. Like I can't even explain why I wanted to feel it. Well, I mean, of course, if I really dug deep into it, I probably could explain, but I'm not gonna dig that deep. Like I get the gist. And there was this one friend, like two friends, I'm sorry, I used to really just try to get sympathy from, and that was wrong. Like I figured that out, you know, of course, eventually, but it was wrong. And it wasn't until one of my other friends that was in our friend group, she went and told them, because I had told her. I don't know, I'm not even sure why I told her, but I just did. And then he came to me and he asked me, and that's probably one of the first times, like that's probably one of the first times I could actually say like I ever did something that was morally wrong. Just because like my whole life, like I've either been bullied, talked about badly, beat up, like something bad has always happened to me. In my mind, I have never been the person to do something bad. So for me to do something bad was literally awful. And I remember like it took so much. Like I remember I used to like try to make it up to this person. Like I was trying to go back to that, you know, nice, kind person again, just to make up for my mistake. Because when I realized I had messed up with this person, like I fully felt it. Like in my spirit, I felt it. And this person, like they did wrong to me too. Like they talked about me and they didn't want to be near me, and they, you know, it was bad. And I used to break down every day. Like in the shower, I used to just sit in the shower for hours in the dark and just break down and cry. Because I was like, I messed up. Like, another person has, you know, left me, you know? And also, like, prior to that year, I feel like, you know, because my cousin, actually, he killed himself. And that's a whole different story. But with all those things that had happened, and you remember, like I said, like my grandfather died, and now my cousin is gone. And my cousin was like my older brother. I don't have any older brothers, but he was like my older brother. And having these people gone created like this reoccurring theme, like I'm losing people. And I felt like I was losing him, and I just couldn't lose anybody else. And I remember I wrote everything I felt in this like little notebook. And I remember giving it to him and he read it. I think this was spring break. And when we came back from spring break, I think it was like finally then. And he came back to me and I think he apologized. And then, as time went on, we made up. Like, things were good again. Like, how they, we're in high school. It's like freshman year. And then the bad part came. And I probably lost one of the most crucial people ever in my life. And it broke me down to a point that I would have never thought about.
Hating, they hit shit for me.